There was a point this year where I felt physically ill after uploading a video, which is strange because on paper, this has been one of the best years for me. However, I have some explaining to do for you guys that have been watching the channel for an incredibly long time. And for some of you guys that might be new to the channel, here's some mistakes, relatable issues, raw conversations about first year as a business, content creator, father, husband, everything else in between. Now, this isn't a woe is me video, very much the opposite. I'm virtually putting a line in the sand, making sure that in a couple of years, when I look back on this video, I stuck to the plan that I set out. Because believe me, I am in an incredibly fortunate position. Dream setup, dream job, and I've got amazing, healthy, little young family. And there's a vast amount of problems in the world that trump content creator on YouTube. However, I do want to explain over the course of the year, I didn't quite see it like that. Funnily enough, this video is the best golf analogy ever. And just like any other person, I am great at giving advice, especially golf advice. But when it comes to taking my own, very much a different story. So we have faced some pretty big challenges this year. However, it's the best transformation I have had as a person, and I want to share with you the mistakes that I've made, what I've done to try and make it better, and ultimately make sure that I don't hate uploading YouTube videos going forward. Flat out, my ego hindered me this year. That's not to say the year was a waste, as we've got an amazing setup, amazing studio, and as I said, I've got the dream job. I've gained 2 new channel partners with Reflow doing my clothing, which I couldn't be more happier with, and the brand. Vice as well as my golf ball partner, and I've been incredibly happy using them to test and review all different kinds of clubs and equipment with obviously their balls. However, I lost sight of the 5-year plan, opening up a shop, 4-bay studio, people coming in, testing equipment, trying equipment, find a waste for 30 quid, find a driver for £100, get solid advice, essentially the ethos of my whole YouTube channel. I doubled down on the YouTube this year. I spent a lot of time on research, a lot of time editing, scripting, filming, B-roll, you name it, with the main premise that I would allow the channel to financially support my family and ultimately the business for the foreseeable future. Which led me to basically have what I can only describe as a panic attack whilst having dinner with my wife in a restaurant over a YouTube video that wasn't doing well. And it seems so stupid saying it now, but I have to give you some kind of context for you guys to understand where my head was actually at. When I started YouTube, I did it solely for the purpose of helping me to get a client base or get myself a different job at a different golf course. I thought if it was me and another assistant and I had 100 followers on YouTube, 500, whatever it might be, they might pick me, maybe because of the fact that I show initiative, or I might bring some followers to that golf course, whatever it might be. The funny thing about those videos is that they were awful. I had no idea how to make videos. I didn't know how to script videos. I didn't know how to do thumbnails, titles, whatever, but it was the most fun I think I had in an incredibly long time making content, as everything was new and any win that you had just felt like, well, a bonus rather than deserved, which is so relatable to every golfer that starts this game when you break 100 for the first time. Or let's say you made your first par. It doesn't really matter that you had a 10 on the last hole, or maybe you shot 120 the week after. It's the fact that your bar is quite low, you haven't spent that much time, effort or money, whatever it might be. And to be honest, you're just happy to be out there playing golf. Now, I have always loved YouTube since its creation. Since I was 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, I've grown up with the platform, and the idea and notion that I could be a professional YouTuber, mainly for my ego, just to tell people, yes, I can earn money from YouTube, was always a great idea in my head. And considering my A-levels was PE, drama, and business studies, well, I think I've kind of hit the nail on the head. But there's a difference with this platform when you make money from it, because when you get that expectation, when you make a certain amount of videos, and way back when I had a video that did slightly well and I got 50, 60, 70 pounds, that was great. That was a day in the shop when I was at the golf club, added bonus. However, over the last couple of years, and I've made videos, been very open and honest, making anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000, 1 month was 4,000 pounds off YouTube. That's when the expectations start to rise. Very similar to our golf game. I got better as a content creator. I got smarter, I got more cunning, I started learning the tricks of the trade. And we'll talk about the bits that I need to apologize about in a minute. But essentially, when you start earning more than minimum wage from YouTube, why don't we just jump in with both feet? Let's triple this. Let's quadruple it. Let's make 100 grand a year off YouTube. And just like a lot of you guys that are potentially trying to get down to 90 or break 80, get to single figures, you go, this year is the year I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend a tremendous amount of time. I'm going to spend a lot of money. I'm going to get lessons, research, you name it. And from that, you then have an expectation you're going to see something on the other side. This is where my ego hurt me this year. I felt like I was going to achieve it. I'm putting the work in, I'm putting the time in, I'm putting the research in. Therefore, I deserve to be better on this platform. And as I said at the start, we've made great progress. I've had some of my best performing videos this year by far. I've learned an incredible amount. And each year as a content creator, you do get better at trying to portray my story. My story never really changes. I kind of say the same thing, but I do find ways to make it more entertaining, more educational, whatever it might be. But just like golf, I had some videos that did incredibly well. And I'm not saying YouTube doesn't pay well, because it does. It's stupid the amount of money you can make from a video. Like, I'll show you some of the videos that I've had recently. 100,000 views makes me about £400. And if I spend 2 days making that video, sometimes 3 days making a video, which I've definitely done multiple times this year, if I make £400 or £500, don't get me wrong, I am not complaining. However, it takes the same amount of time to make a video that does 100, 200, 300,000 views, that it does 10,000, 5,000, 8,000. And when I was spending 2-3 days making a video, thinking that I've done my ultimate blood, sweat and tears into it, and almost having to rely on that video doing 50, 60, 70, 80,000 views to make it financially worth it, this is when the anxiety started to really build. And I'm not afraid to share the details. Essentially, I need to profit £55,000 from the year. So take out all the expenses, the rent, everything else. We need to do 55,000 to cover mortgage bills, nursery fees, you name it. And the fact this is the first year in business, I'm very proud to say that we've definitely achieved that goal. And obviously we can keep moving forward. However, it definitely could have been a lot better and a lot less stressful. But this is where my ego potentially got in my way. I felt I could make that goal, destroy that goal with YouTube, and I almost felt at times if I had lessons in here, it was stopping me getting on the golf course. It was stopping me getting out making the best videos I could possibly create. Whereas actual fact, in terms of securing financially for my family, a lesson, 4 lessons, 5 lessons as a golf coach, making 55k a year is very attainable. And let's be honest, a lot more safer than, well, let's be brutally honest, trying to clickbait my way to the very top so that I feel the 2-3 days of making that video wasn't a complete and utter waste. And it's so interesting looking over this year as I couldn't figure out why I didn't want to go outside and film. I couldn't figure out why I was finding excuses not to get out of the car and get on the golf course, because I almost felt like I was setting myself up for failure, which meant when it came to the second day or the third day, 6 hours worth of filming on the golf course, 10-12 hours editing, tons of B-roll, tons of shot traces, all that kind of stuff. When it came to publishing the video, and anyone that's a content creator, you might not know, you get live analytics. You get to see how it performs in the first minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, all the way up to present day. But anyone that posts a YouTube video will know roughly in an hour if the video is doing well. It ranks it 1 to 10. And if that video comes 10 out of 10 and you've put your blood, sweat and tears in it and financially you're also incentivized that that video needs to do well to then make it worthwhile the amount of time you just spent in it, that's when the anxiety started creeping up every time I had to hit publish. So I will apologize for some of the hacks that I've used this year. Obviously, some of you have mentioned that not using the clubs halfway through the video. It was just an easy way to keep the retention up. You can look through those videos. Those videos perform well in the short term, but also I understand long term. I've spent a long time building this community. I don't want to piss you guys off at the end of the day. And ultimately I was doing that because I felt I needed the 150, 200 pounds for the time spent on the video. Whereas obviously we're now going to fix that, and we have been doing so over the last 3-4 months, meaning that obviously I'm growing the business more traditional ways, not just YouTube, obviously social media platforms, but actually just advertising, word of mouth, stuff to obviously grow the coaching and the club fitting, which now makes complete sense as 4 hours, 6 hours coaching in here is a guaranteed return, which means I've got zero pressure then on making a YouTube video. And ultimately getting back to the point where I just make YouTube videos for the sake of enjoying them. They don't take me a tremendous amount of time. Hopefully they're still to the same level. Same ideas and the information with the long 5-year term plan of making secondhand clubs more accessible, not necessarily a stigma attached to them. There's great equipment out there. You don't have to spend a fortune to get good equipment in this golf game. And that's the whole ethos and message of the channel and why I felt the channel was doing so well in the first place. However, the epiphany was 2 months ago. Obviously, I realized all of this, the anxiety, hate making YouTube videos, whatever it is, but I did a paid promotional video with Melessi. They obviously paid me beforehand, I made the video, and I spent 4 days on this video. I did everything. It's one of my best videos. Please go and check it out, just for the sake of seeing my best work. I had story in there, I had sections, I had conclusion, I had end, I had information, educational stuff, and it did awful. I was in a restaurant with my wife. It was uploading at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. We're sitting down, eating, and I knew, and normally when you upload a YouTube video, I don't know about all other content creators, but as soon as you upload that video, you want to see how it's doing and tracking over the first 10, 20 minutes, and a kind of a sigh of relief if it's like trending in the right direction. This was dreadful. Like 100 views, 150 views. It hasn't done too bad now, but ultimately I felt embarrassed. I felt like a failure, and I was watching my phone for 20 minutes non-stop at the table, struggling to breathe. I had to go outside to go and calm down, get some air. And now looking back on it, when I sit here thinking about it, and hopefully in 2 years I'll just laugh about the matter, it's so ridiculous how I've put myself in that position, relying on YouTube as a financial income, and my ego to be labeling myself as a professional YouTuber is the reason that I got myself in that place. The dreaded thought for any content creator is their platform or channel dying, and unbeknownst to myself, I was doing it. I thought I was doing everything to grow the channel, but in reality, if I stop uploading, then the channel definitely dies. Therefore, we've got to get to a place where I enjoy making YouTube videos, and especially over the last 3-4 weeks or so, I've definitely got back to that place. So with that in mind, all my videos in the future are going to be within here. I love filming outside, but it takes 3 hours to get all the shots out there, plus an hour and a half to do the shot traces. Then obviously that doesn't cover the scripting, the editing, whatever it is. It was just too much. Whereas I can film a video within 40-50 minutes in here, and it takes me an hour, hour and a half, edit that video to make it somewhat engaging. I appreciate that's not going to be for everyone, but also I am promoting my business, so it's kind of twofold. Less time making the video, same educational content, which hopefully still somewhat engaging, even though I'm not on a course, plus promotes the business that obviously I want to grow to reach the 5-year goal. The less time spent making the videos means less pressure when they upload. If it gets 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, I really couldn't care less, because it's only 2 hours out of my day, and I would have done a lot of coaching, selling clubs, buying clubs, whatever it might be. Realistically, my goal has changed from when I was 19, 20 to be a professional YouTuber, to massage my ego, to a successful business owner with the main goal of trying to make a difference in the golf market, especially second-hand clubs. And ultimately, when I have a meal with my lovely wife, not spending 20 minutes panicking because my YouTube video wasn't doing that well. I appreciate you guys that have always supported the channel, and here's to the next chapter.